All right, we need to be serious.
So how do we introduce this? The Tuah podcast?
I will leave right now.
Welcome to the Tuah podcast.
God.
Welcome to G2 Podcast.
That's definitely going on. There's our intro.
All right, cool.
All right, so we'll talk about our 2025 schedule. It is posted up on our website, all of it for the entire year, including all of our events. Two main notes is our Black Market event. We're going to change a couple things there. It is going to be a entirely free day, and we're going to have a free games from 2 to 5 p.m. The two dates for that is April 5th and September 6th. We will be open at 9 o'clock as usual for that day, so come on out. Bring all your stuff. We have our hub as well on our website, so if you got a bunch of stuff on there that you've been trying to sell, bring it out to this. We also renewed our memberships so that they're more price friendly and you get more bang for your buck. There's two different plans. You've got the $30 gold plan and the $38 platinum plan. The gold plan, you'll get 25% off of all open plays for every month that you're subscribed to it. $10 off of all of major events. You get 15% off of any rentals that you need. You'll get one free admission for a friend, and it does not roll over, so you need to use it that month. 5% off of all purchases except for food. You get a VIP card, which we're going to be working on, and after 4 consecutive months, you'll get a G2 t-shirt. All right, for our platinum plan, some of the numbers change. You'll get 35% off of all open plays, 25% off the rentals, 10% off of all purchases except for food, and after 3 months, you'll get a G2 t-shirt. So sign up for those. Those are good deals, and that's per month. You can sign up for either the renewal subscription or you can pay by month. For 2025, our main focus is going to be growing the community through advertising and getting our buildings done. We built, 3 or 4.
I think we built 6 new buildings out there of the new plywood buildings this year.
Yeah.
No, maybe more because we had the Lower Ghost, the 3 buildings in Lower Ghost.
Was that this year?
I think
Yeah,
Lower
that was all
Ghost
this
was
year.
last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was last year.
Okay, then maybe it's probably about 6 buildings.
6 buildings. So I know we built three massive buildings out there for part of the Middle Eastern section. We got enough panels, I think, for one more. We just got to get out there and get them put up.
We cleaned up a lot of the field. I mean, a lot of the buildings that were out there were
there's
falling down.
Another building
issues.
that blew down. We got to clean up yet. But we're going to focus on advertising. We're thinking about getting some stickers like we could put on either the bumpers or... come on in, babe.
Watch the wire trip you.
Hey guys,
Hey, babe.
got your wings ready for you.
Thank you.
And this is just Darren's.
Yeah. There's
We're
the
set. We're
hottest.
supposed to say our
Yeah,
call signs.
don't use real names.
Oh, she...
Cause no trouble at all.
Got you guys some plates and some napkins.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy, guys.
We're going to get some bumper stickers, window stickers, some decal stuff or whatever that we can try to put on our vehicles and whatnot to kind of help with the advertising. And we're thinking about getting like maybe a trailer that we could drive around and park at places to get the word out. Online advertising's not really been working out too well for us that I can see in any metric. We're also going to be working on our team. So with the reduction of days that we're going to be out here running the actual field, we're going to be going out to other fields. So I think our next one planned was Willard.
Yeah, so February 8th, the plan is to go up to MK, Willard, Ohio. Go up there for just an open play, just team. So, I mean, anybody's welcome to come, obviously. But I think we're going to have like 5 or 6 of our guys going up that way.
Cool.
I think is how many is going right now?
Yeah, and typically the way we operate it is we'll put an announcement out there. We probably should put it on our events stuff, right, in Discord.
Yeah, we can probably set up a different schedule, like channel that nobody else can text in except for like me and you. And then I can just update the schedule as we're doing stuff.
Well, we could just put it as an event in Discord with like all of our stuff.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah. And then, we try to get like a group of people together to go, not just G2. We'll just get everybody going together so that we all know that there's going to be a decent crowd.
I think that's that's helping the community in Ohio, being able to go at other fields. We can see how they're ran.
Yeah.
We can meet more people of the community, and then hopefully all together make airsoft in Ohio rebuild it. It's been a downturn for a while, so trying to see what we can do to build that back up.
Yeah, that's how we used to do it back in the day. I think up until like maybe 2 years ago, because we've been busy running our own field.
Yeah.
We would I would say at least once a month go out. Back when like Devil's Playground was around and stuff, we would always go out there.
R.I.P.
Right. Eventually, we're going to get. We thought about putting like a graveyard out on the field and putting like fields that have come and gone, type deal as homage for them.
That'd be funny. A little Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, not necessarily like to like gloat or
Make fun of,
anything. Yeah, it's about paying homage to that stuff because we all came from there, and then we were on. I think Devil's Playground was probably one of the best fields I've been to in a long time. So.
Well, I
Aside
started
from
playing
ours.
a lot earlier than you guys did, so
Yeah.
I've got more options.
Yeah, Fallen Warrior is pretty good too, and
Fallen Warriors
it's
and
gone
Devils,
now as
yeah.
well. So we'll get down to our events. So we were going to raise the prices of our events up to $65 because the price of everything nowadays is just so expensive. But after talking with a lot of the people in Airsoft, Ohio, and I think we were like the only field that actually commented in there.
Yeah.
About it, we're going to reduce it back down to 50, but in order to do that, we have to kind of scale back on some of the costs of us running the events itself, which we're more than happy to do. We want to make sure that it's affordable to a lot of people. We're not looking to get rich off this stuff. Every single one of us, aside from these two guys here, get paid when they do tech work.
Wait, what?
when they do tech work, but outside of that, nobody else gets paid. So we're going to bring ES kind of back to some basics. Like we tried out a few times during like our open plays of running medics with the medic bags and stuff like that. And we had a really good response to that, and we incorporated it into ES.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out good. Obviously, the people who wanted to be the medic really enjoyed it, but the people who
You don't want to be the medic.
don't want to be the medic, they're kind of like, I hate that stuff. So
So if you like being
Yeah.
a medic, let us know.
Yeah. It didn't translate very well into the milsim. Most people.
Well, I think it didn't translate well into the milsim because most people are used to just the TQs, but we wanted to add that extra layer with some of the medic bag stuff. And it's just anytime there's anything new, people don't enjoy it sometimes, especially if you don't want to be the medic.
Mind you,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of like the dedicated medic.
You also
so
run
I'm like,
gas blowback
yeah,
rifles.
I'm like
so-
on the outside of it. I'm like the more hardcore you can get it, the more realistic. But
Yeah,
that's just not the community.
I just liked it because it added something a little different. Other than just running up, touching someone, or putting a tourniquet on. You had like some kind of things you had to do. Like you could use. Well, I was going to get shock paddles for them and stuff. This way you could just kind of act out like in Battlefield or something. But we ended up with problems with people not wanting to volunteer to be the medics when it came to the military. Everybody just wanted to go out and shoot. So there'll be no dedicated medics. Some of the rules are going to be brought back as well. So like before it was fighting over all these territories. You're still going to fight over them, but RLNA is going to be able to reoccupy some territories, but they won't be able to spawn from there. Once America takes over that territory, it's America's territory, but you can occupy it, which then prevents America from spawning there. They'll have to go back to a different area and spawn, but it's always still America's territory. So what else was there? Something along with that. And RLNA is in ES designed to fail. So what happens with that is if RLNA gets wiped out too fast, we just roll reverse. RLNA will become the US and we'll run through it again. And then at about 6 o'clock or so, we'll go into the night mode, and that's where we'll have the USA pushing RLNA into their main base, and you get to blow up all the stuff that's there. After you capture the commander and execute him in the middle of everything.
Yeah, because I think like this past year, I don't think we did explosives for Explosive Sunset. Did we?
Yeah.
We did. There was just a.
Well, at first, Bud wouldn't let us do it.
Oh.
And then I was able to talk him into it. and so now we can kind of do it again. But it has to be very well controlled because we're talking about, you're letting off, explosives in the woods and stuff. So we got to make sure everything's safe. We got a fire extinguisher and lots of bottles of water out there and stuff. So
Yeah. Are we going to do 2 breaks during Explosive Sunset?
yes, there are 2 breaks. That's why I was bringing up the tax op. There's going to be, so the way we did it the prior times, there's going to be a break at 11, at 1:30, and then at 5 o'clock. You will remain on the field. It's a 1-hour break. And so you're going to want to bring your own food, but we're also going to sell meal tickets. And so we'll bring food down and stuff for you guys to have. But you're ultimately going to want to bring your own food because it is a long game. It's going to go until 2100. And the main reason for those breaks is so that people can recover from fatigue. And we've noticed that with even the past few Explosive Sunsets, even kind of turf wars a little bit, is once it hits 5 o'clock, people are just tired. They don't continue on. A lot of people just end up leaving.
Well, I think that's what we're trying to prevent is I know last Explosive Sunset, I had or the first one I went to, we had an entire squad leave and take a 2 or 3 hour lunch. And we had no idea where they were at. And so they were off comms and whatnot. So it's trying to keep everybody organized, keep everybody on the field longer, but also having those breaks so people don't get gassed and quit at a local mill sim. Trying to build in some of that into the event to keep people playing longer. So that, if we have 10 guys quit, 15 guys quit at a local field, we can feel that.
Mm-hmm.
At something at a AMS or a Milsim West where there's 600 people, you got to have 50 to 100 guys quit, I feel to feel that. But at our local field, we just, we have to kind of pander to the group we have now and build them up to some of that resilience.
Yep. So I think that's all we really had for Explosive Sunset.
I will say on Explosive Sunset, I know there's not harsh restrictions really on uniform or weapon types, but get into your role. If you're going to be RLNA, we are Rus 4 forces, so you got an AK and some Russian looking stuff, embrace the role. If you guys are going to be NATO and US, embrace the role, try to get into the US role. It only makes the event more fun, and I think it's cool to see all the different kits that people bring out. We do have some really cool impression kits out there, but just try to embrace the role as much as you can. I think it only helps with the immersion of the event that we're trying to put together.
It makes it more fun for everyone, so.
Well, and as well, looking at that kind of goes into the support gunner and sniper type roles of in our tax op we have it written that it's limited to was 2 machine guns for every 10 people or something like that. That's something that we're looking at pretty hardcore enforcing. We haven't been as heavy on that, but from doing some admin stuff down there, machine guns are definitely pretty heavy point, I think, at our field. So
machine guns and then even white cell staff, so pure just admin. They're not player admin, they're admins. We have reps on the field. I know that's some things we talked about adjusting for 2025 is
but
dedicated
it's just
roles.
One of those things, if you're coming out and I believe on our pre-register it will have a
role
a
selection.
role designation, right?
If it doesn't, we should.
So we don't have the role designations on there anymore because we got rid of the dedicated combat medics and stuff. But there is a squad lead role on there that you can opt for because you're going to be the captain of the USA.
Yeah, I'm going to be commander.
And you're the commander of RLNA.
Yep.
So we already got the 2 main roles filled out. So then you just need squad leads basically after that.
Yeah.
So I guess the only thing I would say on that is if you're coming out as a sniper, if you're coming out as support gunner, just bring an extra rifleman kit. That way it's not something where it's you can't play today or whatever because
well, hopefully with the way we're doing it now, because you've got up until a month prior to order your tickets, and then the prices go up $265 for 2 weeks, and then there's no more sales. Because that next 2 weeks before the event, we'll be getting people pulled in, trying to plan and stuff. So pay attention to your emails because that's how we'll get in contact with you.
And with
probably should put a thing on there for text messaging, they could check the boxes if we could text them or whatever.
So that is a thing for this year since we're doing hardcore with the pre-registration. I don't think we were doing anything at the gate, right?
No gate sales.
So no gate sales.
You'll be turned away.
So, with that pre-registering, as commanders, we're going to fit you into squads. We're going to get our squad lead. If, we have people who are not being squad leads, I'm just going to choose a squad lead, and you're just going to have to suck it up. So keep that in mind with some of that as you're prepping your team and your guys.
Well, I think too, like in some of the Discord stuff and just stuff I prefer to see, and we've heard feedback of, is like people want to have some of that organization, some of that chain of command. And yes, we can provide it as staff, but if we don't have pre-registration, we don't know who's going to be there. People aren't. We offer the planning groups in Discord. Obviously, there's some fine tuning that we can do, but like if people aren't in those and they're not active in there, and they just show up game day or a day of the game and say, "Hey, I'm ready to do what I need to do," and I'm like, "Okay, well, I've had radio channels, I've had trying to figure out squad leaders, I've been trying to designate medics for like the past month, but I've only had 5 people in the chat." Like,
Yeah, making sure you got the right gunners.
yeah. So like pre-reg, I know I don't know why this generation isn't pre-reg, but like that only benefits you as a player and your team as a player, because one, we can know how many people are going to be there. We can adjust things based on that, and as commanders, we can set that chain of command and that organization so that one game day arrives, everybody knows their plan and we can get into it, and we're not spending the first 2 hours as a CO at our fob organizing radios, which based on the current time right now, not everybody has that. We're still going to be doing that, but we're not doing it day of, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, my channel doesn't. Oh, I'm hearing US comms too." We're always going to have stuff like that, but it's going to, instead of it being this much, it's going to be this much, because ideally most of it's already been done in the Discord chat.
And I think that's a thing maybe that we had talked about making a change to, but like when we're distributing radio comms, like for the most part, it's going to be from CO to squad lead. Hey, here's your comms, and then the squad lead needs to pass down their comm channel to their guys. So I'm not going to go around and set up.
You're only setting up
50
your squad
guys
leaders.
radios.
Yeah.
It's going to be 4 or 5 guys radios that I'm setting up, and then you're going to have to distribute down. We do have in our tax op the frequencies for each team. So remember, there's that thing, don't get on the enemy team's frequency and start broadcasting and trying to do that. That's
we used to
kickoff.
We used to have it where you were allowed to like monitor the enemy team's comms and stuff, but since we're actively publishing them out there, we don't allow that anymore, because it's just not fair, to be honest. The field's not big enough for it to be effective.
Yeah.
When another thing that just popped in my head, are we going to try to continue to introduce ATACs?
Oh yeah, we're gonna I think at least for squad leads on up, we're gonna start making ATAC Ares Alpha.
Ares Alpha, sorry.
Yeah.
Ares Alpha.
Mandatory. Just this way we can know where everybody's at. The commanders can know where everybody's at. Eventually we're going to get Ares Alpha boxes out there and stuff like that, so we can do different game modes and whatnot. And we want to start getting people used to that, so we can get some better game modes going, flows going. I believe it's got the ability to like mark off zones and like add up points and stuff like that, so we could do like some domination stuff. And
I've never had issues with gas blowback pistols.
All right, we recording now?
We've been recording the whole time. At least on those 2 cameras. That piece of the DVs. We're in Ares Alpha, and then we were going to talk about the admins.
Yeah, so a big change from any of our previous years, really. We're doing away with player admins for our big games like this. People complain about it too much because you airsofters are stupid.
that's staying in there.
So are some of our admins, including me.
So we're not doing player admins till we get past, I think this point may be a permanent thing.
I think we only did player admins this year. And it's because we worked so much.
We've had player admins like in a lot of our events over the years.
Well, they were player, at least even before I was on the team and I was just playing your guys' events. They were maybe like a squad leader, or they were just guys
they'd have a major
role. Because that's one thing that you said is like, hey, you guys come out here and you work, you put all this time and effort in, so I want you guys to actually be able to play, but hey, it would be nice if you could help run things. And that's just a tough mix. Not everybody, including myself, like I can get main character syndrome and just not even just totally forget that I'm supposed to be an admin.
So, like, I mean, if you get information saying, well, Joe Schmo over here, who's fully decked out in his kit running around, said he's an admin and said do this or that, he's not an admin. So, if an admin doesn't say it, it's probably not true. So, double check with the admins. We're all going to look like admins, have admin stuff, walking around. So there should be no reason for you to be complaining about player admins.
What ideally with all the pre-reg, we always run through our tax ops with a fine-tooth comb, and the pre-registration, like players and things like that, like in Discord. Hopefully that will mitigate some of the questions, but airsofters can't read. Hot take. So we're always going to have those players who don't read the tax op or don't care to, and they're going to show up on game day, say, I don't know what to do. We'll handle that as it comes through, but hopefully this year we can mitigate some of that.
And I think it'll be a good thing, if we have a decent amount of admins out there running stuff, if you have a question or you don't know what's going on, obviously we'll direct you around and say, hey, well, your objective is X, Y, Z, and you need to be doing this or that, or hey, that's not the rules, you need to be doing this or that. A big thing that we do, even as admins, we're constantly looking at you guys and making sure you're following the rules. I've caught guys who have come down with Mesh iPro, and I've sent them back up to the top. So, I mean, it may irritate you guys, but that's our job. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So hopefully we can keep everybody safe, have a fun time. And
Yeah. Well, I think, too, is like, on that note, like, if you guys see something, bring it to us so that we can, from a staff perspective, can handle it either like right then and there, or we can pull that player aside so that we're not escalating situations. We're human. We're not going to catch everything, right? So, like, if you see something, especially players who are regular, like, hey, Joe Schmo over there is a new guy. He has no idea what he's doing. Or that guy looks like he's about to heat catch. There's a lot of medical professionals that come out to the team. And your advice is greatly appreciated. Or even, like, ideally, as we expand, we're going to have a lot of new players. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be people who don't know the field, who are lost, and that's where the admin can kind of come in and help. And, hey, this is how G2 plays. This is how these events go. Build some, some familiarity with that so that you aren't the new guy every time you come out.
And I think it has more credibility having actual, like, normal admins and player admins. People are more prone to listen because, I mean, if you're causing an issue or you want to backtalk and be a jerk to me as an admin, I'll just kick you off the field.
Yep.
So, it's airsoft. We're running around in the woods as grown men shooting
We're
BBs
LARPing,
at each other.
we're LARPing in a BB war.
It's just a game. There's no reason to be getting mad at it.
And we're doing on our end too, of like policing that stuff too, which is why it's like, hey, there's no dog in the fight. You're not shooting. You're not doing anything. Like, you are just admin strictly. So hopefully we can prevent anything from that end either as well.
Yeah, we're not perfect by any means. No. And
I mean, he might be, but.
No, I went off on one guy once. I felt bad for it, but he's never been back. So, well, actually, I think it was the guy that full autoed on our field back when we had Battlegrounds. So he was banned anyways.
Yeah. If I'm yelling at you, you did something really bad.
Is that where your BB went?
No.
No, that was there before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry,
I just saw. I was like, what?
Well, so for context, Blooper decided to desk pop. And so,
indeed, with an airsoft gun.
Actually, one thing too. I don't know, probably just a talking point, but I know we talked about full throttle days where they were full auto. I don't know if there's enough GBBs, but what if instead it was gas blowback only full auto?
I mean, I'm fine with it as long as there's enough people for it.
Yeah. Well, I think pistols and the gas blowback community, I think that'd be kind of fun. I'd buy a gas blowback for that. You hear that gas blowback
community? The 5 of us that play in Ohio.
Well, it's definitely something we look at, and that's. Just hit the record on that one again. And that's why we were doing turf wars, basically, where you could buy the full auto in those. So, like, it gave people the ability. Yeah, well, we'll get to turf wars as soon as we get into this chicken, but I'm getting hungry. I don't know about you guys.
And it has been sitting here for a minute.
Yeah. But I don't know if there's anything else we really need to talk about with Explosive Sunset.
If anything more comes up, just stay tuned to Discord.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Yeah, definitely join us on our Discord. It's on our website under contact us. All of our links, all of our social media stuff is there, and we'll keep it posted up there on all of our updates. Because there is, I guess, one update I need to make to the tax op. I guess I forgot to take out the dedicated medic part in the tax op. Ben was pointing out, so I gotta get that fixed. So we'll make notes on what's changed and stuff and get that posted.
Yeah, I mean, we're on what? X? We're on
X,
YouTube,
Instagram, YouTube, Facebook.
Like, you can follow us on Instagram, trying to reshare stuff. If you guys are trying to miss stuff or send us stuff, you can definitely do that. Maybe we should add, like, people who are more active on Instagram, like, their Instagram handles, too, so that just that information is just...
Yeah, I think most of our members have Instagrams where we repost stuff all the time, but our G2 is, you'll be able to find everything there at the G2 tag, Instagram handle and all that.
All right. We're going to get into this chicken. So basically, I just said we're going to do this podcast. We're going to do something with it as well. So kind of like Hot Ones. I think that's what it's called, right? Hot Ones?
Hot Ones, yeah. My wife loves that show.
Yeah. So we figured we'd do like some hot sauce stuff, or we could do some toxic waste, sour, or anything. You know, just something to spice it up a little bit other than just sitting here talking about airsoft.
Yeah, little BBs.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this
Despot
ass
blooper.
nugget. And then Blooper's going to taste my cock. So,
well, that went a little bit weird.
His Discord name could be DP.
Mom, don't watch this.
Mom, don't. I'm sorry, Mom.
so everybody at least gets 10 wings or something that they want, and then we'll put some sauce on our plates.
Probably start with just a couple.
Yeah.
Come get some.
All right, so we got level 1 here. Chipotle. That's probably not hot at all. At least to me.
Give me a fork.
I'm going to die, by the way.
Yeah. Blooper's going to have explosive diarrhea.
Explosive sunset diarrhea.
So I would probably just advise putting just a little bit on one of them and try it, I guess.
You're hogging all the sauce.
I have to go change the oil
Pass it.
in my mother's car today. I'm going to be sitting there. I have to drive all the way to Piqua.
No, you just lay there and shit yourself.
Sorry, guys. That was me, not the car.
Like earlier.
Yeah.
All right. Well, level 1 was like untasteable.
Untasteable?
You get a little tang in the beginning.
Yeah, it's mostly tangy.
It's good.
Yeah, it's just tangy.
You're just not going. You're going for that hot.
Yeah, I figured it was just Chipotle sauce, so.
All right. Level 2.
You want to get some?
Sure, I was recording Blooper's face, waiting for him to lose it.
But this isn't very hot right here. It's hot. Hot stuff doesn't bother me. I'm fine with hot stuff.
Oh, cayenne.
It's the after effect.
You don't rub your eyes after all this.
You said rub my eyes? Okay.
What is that, Quaker steak and lube?
Yeah, and I forgot to get it milk, so if anybody was hoping for milk, you're kind of
It's
screwed.
okay. I'm kind of lactose intolerant, so it don't matter.
He'd be all kinds of messed up.
All right, here's cayenne pepper.
Are we supposed to talk about stuff while we're doing this?
Yeah. That's level 2?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
Turf Wars.
I like turf wars. I think turf wars can evolve in so many ways that benefits our community.
Yeah, I feel like it needs to build up more, like our field, to accommodate. What was it? So we're essentially you're going to grab some kind of basic resource and you can refine it into an advanced resource to sell it for more, and that causes conflict between people having to crisscross because you have to travel to different sides of the field. But with that, you can buy extra medics, you can buy extra full autos, the ability to do different things. I forget all of them, but they're in the
There's
tax op.
it's like full auto, extra medic. You can carry more grenades, self revive, like stuff like that. Kind of like those video game, pieces that we're able to do, but insert them into the game so that it gives you a reason. Oh, we need to go accumulate money so we can outfit our guys to better do this. I know we said about raising the prices of some stuff to make it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, not the price of the tickets for the event, but just the price of the armbands that we use.
Yeah.
So, and Ben was the commander for Emerald Serpents, and I believe they won last year's event.
Yeah.
And he's volunteered again to be the commander this year. And since they won last year, they get to pick their turf that they want to start with.
Are we gonna do the kill tokens too?
Yeah,
I know there were a couple guys. Can I name drop?
Yeah.
Dren and his guys. There was a definitive difference in the amount of incoming money from the tokens off dead players once they left.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, doing the confirmed kill by getting the poker chips off of them people can definitely help turn the event around.
We had
for
so
your
much
team.
money.
Yeah.
Or that team did. I wasn't on the team.
I think also it probably needs to be said, Turf Wars is not a milsim or
Correct.
milsim
No.
light.
Nope.
It's like a post-apocalyptic thing or whatever where, there's not a lot of advanced armory stuff or anything. So I think that was another thing that we were going to talk about was like maybe like some kind of weapon restrictions on like what kind of gear you're allowed to have to make it more...
Gaspo back home.
Yeah.
Nerf everybody.
So I think it would be kind of cool. This is me spitballing, but like, full auto bands, that's the only thing that can make you full auto.
Correct. That is, well,
Well,
other than
LMGs.
LMGs.
Well, I'm saying, like, I mean...
That's
maybe-
what it was. We had an
maybe
LMG band too that you could add another LMG.
Yes.
Maybe there is no LMGs until you get a
you
full
get
auto
that.
band.
Yeah, until you get an LMG band or something like that. We went to an event, I think it was like 6 of us, went up to Black Ops. They had like a post-apocalyptic thing. That was one thing. There was no full auto. LMGs actually there were banned. But
Left field from the video you sent me. That video is pretty CQB, anyways. Like,
there was a lot of long distance stuff, like
was there? Okay.
marching through the woods and stuff like that. But it's just kind of one of those thoughts. So I mean, if the community has a say on something, of hey, semi only unless you get the full auto band, then that.
So that means no SMGs or LMGs can shoot full auto.
Correct.
Which I mean, that would make it even. That would make that band worth
a lot more.
considerably more. Like, hey, you can't even start out with full auto.
And I'd be fine with that. I think it'd add to a good dynamic.
Well, and again, the idea is not a kill fest. The idea is more of the LARPy, like, resource-driven kind of event. It's not meant to be this giant, let me rack as many kills as I can. Kind
I
of thing.
personally think LMGs kind of hinder some of that a little bit, but I can't see it because of Darren's fat head.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think LMGs are always kind of the, full auto and airsoft is always kind of the, what am I
That's
trying to
good.
say?
Still not hot,
The
but it
cheat
tastes
code,
good.
like LMGs and SMGs are always kind of the cheat code in airsoft because the ranges of airsoft guns are so limited, that I can run an LMG and shoot, however many joules it is at full auto when my rifleman is not able to.
Yep.
But I mean, as it stands, unless there's something put out there, our tax op has all the rules.
Yeah. Just get on the tax op. If you got questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions, or anything about how to improve the events, by all means, just hit us up. We're open.
Constructive feedback.
Yeah, constructive. But like, we're open to like anything. Like, for instance, we'll get into White Rhino here in a second, and someone wants to do a kit for it, so we're gonna see about implementing
I don't
that.
think you can say that on.
I don't think you can say that either.
Oh, crap. We're going to see about doing a Best.
Nope.
Just bleep it. Just be
We're-
like, just bleep it.
We're
I
just.
don't think you
Special
can say
or-
Sewer
Ordinance.
slide vest.
A special ordinance.
Where's
Vest.
the vest at? You got a vest over
I got a plate carrier.
there? All right, play here. All right, one of the guys wants to do a in the event. Guess we can't say the stuff online, so we're gonna see about implementing that into White Rhino. So,
Welcome to G2 Podcast.
we got anything else to say about Turf Wars? Really?
Well, I think just keep looking for like advertisement because I think we're gonna try to get creative with some of the Turf War stuff and some of the bigger events. So like if you guys have ideas like for White Rhino, and then we're gonna get into it, we have like a group of people who approached us about doing these specific roles. Talked it over with Darren, and we're like, yeah, sure, let's add it into the game. So I think like for Turf Wars or even for Explosive Sunset, like if you guys have a small unit, you guys have 4, 5, 6 guys or more that you want to get together and run as a team, and you maybe, oh, well, we could, add this part of the event. Like what do you guys think about that? Like I know we've talked about doing like civilian factions, and we've talked about things like that, but we just haven't been able to because there's really only 1 or 2, maybe 3 teams that have like over 5 guys. And those teams are more focused elsewhere. So if we have people who want to run like, oh, I'm going to build a kit around medic, or we're going to build a fully cohesive, team, or maybe for some of the more LARPy stuff, we want to be the followers of Milo, I don't know, and dress up and be all kind of LARPy with it, like, come to us with those ideas, and because again, that just kind of only adds to the flavor of the event, I think.
Are any of these hot?
Green chili flavor. That's what it adds. Not yet. But wait till we get there.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be like a waterfall.
I think
all of
once
a
you get to
sudden-
my hot cock, it's gonna be pretty excruciating.
Yeah, those herpes suck.
So I guess we can get into White Rhino then, since this pretty much leads into that. So it's going to have 3 different factions, basically. We'll have the DEA, the cartel, and a civilian faction, which we're going to call the Rednecks.
Lovingly.
Yeah, so
I'm a certified redneck, so I can say that.
it's going to be in August. Oh, by the way, Turf Wars is on May 31st. Explosive Sunset's on March 29th. White Rhino is going to be on August 30th. Basically, so you got the 3 different factions, and it's the DEA. They're trying to bust the cartel, and the cartel is trying to get away with drug smuggling, and the civilian group's there to be sold the drugs to, and for hire, basically.
Fake drugs.
Yeah, fake. They're bricks of cocaine. I mean, white white powder of flour.
That didn't improve.
FBI.
Yeah, so we're actually going to have probably like, I don't know, 50 bricks of white flour. And we were going to do candy and stuff, but like I said, we're trying to reduce the costs and stuff. Yeah. Well, I was at Jungle Gyms the other day, and they got these big things of like candy and stuff. And we were thinking about we could use them like nerds and stuff,
Jungle
whatever.
Gyms. Only rich people shop there.
Only what?
Rich people shop there.
Look at me, my name is Seven. I'm so posh.
Anyway. We were going to do a bunch of different kinds of candies or crackers or pretzels or whatever and have them be designated as different things. Oh, yeah, because we had
Can't say that, Darren.
Yeah, you can say that.
say what? What did I say? Crackers?
Saltines.
Can't say crackers? Oh, my gosh.
That's our word.
Let's see here.
Took a weird turn.
All right, that's getting cut out.
So Turf Wars will be kind of like an all-day event too. There's going to be like no breaks during it. You can take breaks whenever you want. So
On the field.
Yeah. There's no going up top, no nothing. So
I guess, do we reiterate that, like for all of our big events,
We're
all
moving
breaks
away
are
from
on the field?
all on the field.
So ideally, you don't have to walk up and down the hill. The hill's not going away. I've been playing there since I was 13. The hill's not going away. Like there's nothing we can do about it. We're working on different things, but like touch grass, do some cardio, lift some weights,
Yeah.
bring your food down with you.
Yeah. So the game's going to start at 1100 and end at 1900.
What time is that for the civilian folks?
11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Ooh, this is a thick boy.
Is it?
Oh my God.
Which one's that one?
The next one.
Level 5, habanero. Oh, that's going to be good stuff. I like habanero.
I'm out of chicken, guys. You know.
Play more here, buddy.
Milo,
What the hell?
Guys. Oh, they're.
When the thicker it is, the hotter it is.
Hey, is that legal? Those little 4
Oh, yeah.
Lick
Yeah.
my fluids, Blooper. Come on.
To shut up and go on a run about it.
Yeah.
So in there's all Crap, were we talking about White Rhino? That was Turf Wars, my bad. I clicked on the wrong tax app.
That was not bad. Blooper.
Alright, so White Rhino is going to, same times. 1100 to 1900, so that's 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. You got the cartel D8, and there's only going to be 10 to 15 maximum civilians, rednecks. All right, so basically the cartel actually has to follow some rule sets in order to be able to bust like a drug hut or something like that. So they have to gather intel, they have to gather photos, they have to gather probably like
DEA?
The DEA has to gather photos, intel. They can capture people and interrogate them for information, and then they have to actually bring it to a judge, and in order to get search warrant and stuff to go bust a place. There are certain things that you have to do as the cartel to mark your stash house, your gun house, or whatever that's in the tax op as well, so that it is a clear indicator, and you can't say, no, that wasn't it, or whatever. You know, we're trying to make it as role play as possible, but also as legitimate as possible.
Yeah, for all you loophole finders.
Yeah. Let's see, and then of course the cartel, they're going to have to get some basic materials to create the fake drugs to then be able to sell to the civilians, and the civilians are also able to be for hire for the DEA or the cartel to do certain functions. One of the things that one of the cartel guys who's going to sign up for the cartel, he wanted to create that vest, and we made it to where it's a viable option from the civilian people, and then he can operate it and do whatever they want to do with it. So, like I said, we're open to all kinds of ideas on things that that you guys want to do to enhance the gameplay. As long as the people are there to do it, we'll try to make it work. Mm-hmm. But we didn't want to create these different roles and nobody wanted to play them. So we're letting the community kind of essentially design it themselves, because then there's a need for that role.
Yep. That's where it comes in. Hey, I got 4 or 5 guys, not just, hey, I've got one guy and an idea. You got to have 4 or 5 guys ready to go.
Yeah, and like some of our events, like White Rhino, probably not. Explosive Sunset. Obviously, we're open to criticism, but we're probably not going to change it too much from what we already have. But like, you know, if we have new events or something like this, you know, put in your input. You know,
well, I think the idea
say what
is
you would want to do. If you have an idea on something, I mean, we might use it. You know, it's
good stuff.
I like that one a lot too. Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is not kind of what Darren said, not to kind of rehash, but you know, what Seven said about you know, it's supposed to sunset, like coming back to the basics and establishing that baseline just based on community feedback is what we kind of seen needs to happen. And so that's why Explosive Sunset's probably going to try to stay as a baseline, and also why we're tossing in Turf Wars and White Rhino is to be able to allow some of that heavier creativity from us and the community. So.
You have so much meat on those wings.
So I've been talking a lot.
You're going to talk more, Blooper.
Yeah.
I am. I'm talking a ton. Why?
Milo underscore
I'm gonna
BK
finish eating
underscore
them.
7500.
I'm going to finish eating them probably just off camera.
Instagram.
Aaron.blooper.
Ghost pepper. This one's going to be
Oh,
fun.
Or is it blooper.aaron? I don't remember what my
He'll get
Instagram
blooper, Aaron.blooper, and you're
Jesus.
going to get a...
Alright, Aaron. You better eat it.
No. But yeah, our Turf Wars stuff, or White Rhino. My stomach's upset.
Shot.
Just eat
shot,
more chicken.
Shot, shot, shot,
He
shot.
says that as like, my stomach's upset, Daddy.
I at least want to see you smell it, Blooper.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something that we have to cut out.
I mean, if you can't handle it, we got the sour stuff.
He's gonna say an 18.
If that's your max.
I don't know.
Peanut gallery over there is trippy.
None of these are really hot.
That
Yeah,
was
that-
pretty decent. I think.
Look at the one before that. It was hotter.
Yeah, the habanero.
Like this has the what level is that?
that
no,
was
the one we just had.
6.
Yeah, level 6 has got like a delayed hotness.
Yeah. Yeah, that one kind of creeps up on you.
Versus the shock factor of the other ones, I feel like. We should have brought trash.
That one's a little bit hot.
I can have Angie bring us some.
Yeah, that one's definitely a little bit hot.
Water makes it worse.
You shouldn't have said anything.
Well, he's halfway down with his bottle.
Yeah, that one hurts a little bit.
When you're done.
How much editing you want to do on this podcast?
You're already shooting BBs everywhere.
That one actually hurts a little bit.
But I would say, kind of back to what we were doing, is like White Rhino, make sure you pay attention to the tax ops and then the socials and Discord for announcements, planning stuff. That way you guys can be in tune as we are in tune with it as well.
Yeah, definitely read through the tax op. I'm not going to cover it all here in this, but just want to make sure everybody's aware about the general plans of what, the concept of what White Rhino is supposed to be, how we're going to do it, and if it evolves, and we can kind of up the price a little bit, maybe next year or something after the economy picks back up, then we'll implement even more stuff into it. So otherwise, we'll just keep it baseline, and we'll do what we can with the amount of money that we get. So, anything else to say about the events?
Read tax op.
Yeah, read
Yeah.
the tax op.
Please read the tax op.
And if there's
I
a
forget which
better
event it was that we just had. When I literally asked everybody who read the tax op, and not a single person
that was
raised their
Explosive
hand.
Sunset.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
a single person raised their hand.
And that's
It's amazing.
and again, it goes down to there's quite a bit of time of planning, and I want to put in more as a team. But even currently, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into developing these things, and we're not perfect, right?
No.
In our head, this would sound great. Oh, throw in a tax op, and then you might read it and be like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's never gonna work. Or some of our community have been event planners, or currently are event planners, and it's like, hey man, we tried that and it bombed hard. Let us know that constructive feedback
Yeah.
and a private message or something like that is extremely helpful. The only reason I say private message is sometimes you throw it out in the open world and it becomes a yelling fest. But again, the tax ops are where we're gonna always default to. And if you guys as players are like, oh, we want better events, we don't even know what we're doing, this is dumb, okay, well, step one, did you read the tax op? And it's like, well, no. Okay, well, then that's where you need to start as the player. As the player, do your part. And if us as event staff and event planners aren't doing our part, let us know in a constructive way, and we'll make sure that we adjust that. But if you're not even hitting step one, you know what I mean? If you're missing step one as a player, then that's tough for us to say, oh, well, it's hard for us to improve if you haven't, as the player, even done step one.
Yeah.
Now, if you've done step 1 through 10, whatever, arbitrary numbers, then yeah, then it's on our end. So,
But literally, it requires more than just 2 people.
yeah, we lost that
Mess-
camera on the right.
This guy.
I have a hold your wall from that.
Yeah.
Camera's too hot.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, that one was toasty.
All right, we'll just let that one go. The other two are still recording.
But yeah, it requires more than just 2 people to send messages. For whatever reason, in the era that we're in, people are afraid to ask questions, to speak their opinion on anything.
Well, they're not afraid to speak their opinion. They just want to. They just want
I'm
to be
saying,
keyboard warriors.
you got in Airsoft Ohio, or even in our own Discord, you have over 1,000 people there, and you see like 10,
The same
15
10 people, yeah.
10, 15 people, comment on about an event or something. I mean, that doesn't really give us a good baseline if we have you flipping crazy human. That doesn't give us a good baseline on, what we need to improve. Sweet.
All right, we'll just take a minute.
I'll pause them.
We'll just take a minute and let them cool down.
Jesus Christ. Were you getting into G2 Customs?
Yeah, that'll be a quick one.
Welcome to G2 Customs.
Yeah, well, all right. Actually, I'll probably just let you take that off with the G2 Customs.
Okay. So just like some general R&D type stuff. I don't want to give away too terribly much stuff.
Enough
But-
to make it spicy.
Yeah, so like custom airsoft stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Like it all looks homemade, it all looks like bad. Like there's some cool 3D printed kits and stuff out there, but for the most part I think unless you have a lot of time or like you're putting actual effort into it, it just looks like garbage. So kind of what we want to try and get into, obviously we already do the Cerakoting for the paint jobs, but just kind of ramping that up to an 11 with, some other body kits possibly, and
Dude, that's like welded on.
wow, some other body kits, some cooler paint jobs, just some stuff that I think would be well received in the community. Maybe not necessarily for all your Milsim guys, but I definitely think the general community would enjoy it. And, some other real steel counterparts that maybe aren't sold out there right now. Just some kits with that, but making it high quality, not crap. Because if it's garbage, well, we're just going to throw it in the dumpster. We're not going to sell it. We're not going to promote it. So we just want to do stuff that's actually good. If there's stuff out there I think that, the community wants, that the community likes and wants us to look into it, then it's something that we could definitely probably do. Obviously, you can already hire 7 to kind of 3D print some stuff for you. But, with that, with the G2 custom stuff, just kind of some of these extra paint jobs, these more involved R&D phases for like gun kits and stuff like that, I think are something that the community will really like. Me personally, I would like. Working on some stuff actually right now with modeling some things in
Yeah, because we were talking
in design
about
software.
3D printing and stuff like that. So you got basically FDM and resin. Resin's always got issues with layer lines. Whenever it breaks or whatever, if it gets too hot, it can warp and all that stuff. Resin printing, you've got issues with it still being able to kind of overheat and warp. They're not really good for long-term stresses, stuff like that. Not so much with the whole heating warp stuff, but it's more like long-term stretch. So like we got the LMG, his LMG.
Yeah, his PKM.
Yeah, it's that there. I reprinted the whole stock and everything for it, and I even used the impact-resistant resin. It's called tough resin, and like it just bends over time, and eventually it'll just snap. It's crazy. So we don't feel like the 3D printing stuff. I think is like really good for just prototyping, making sure measurements are good, make sure things fit right, that you got all the right components and stuff. But we're going to take it up another step from there. And we'll probably leave that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd say keep that a secret for now.
Well, I think even 3D printing too, because as a noob coming in 3D printing, I was like, oh man, this is sick. Like these things are awesome. Like this seems really rigid, but at the end of the day, it's still plastic that we are.
It's not a hard plastic.
Well, yeah, it's not a hard plastic. It's not molded per se. So it's like, yes, there are plastic parts in airsoft and even in real steel, but a 3D printed piece is like way down here as far as like durability, and we're replacing or attempting to replace a stock, like something that takes a lot of abuse and things, with something that can't handle that abuse. And so in my head I was like, oh, this is awesome, this is gonna be so cool, we can make so many cool things. But then in reality it's like, this is really good for like game boards and like model airplanes and like that hobby community.
If you baby it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you're going to be out there playing airsoft. You're going to fall on it. You're going to
That's another thing.
do
like,
whatever, nick it.
people want to take and 3D print everything, and that's all they want to use. And so, my philosophy on it is incorporate other materials in with it to make the structure more durable, more rigid in certain areas,
But then you only increase the
flexible
cost.
in other areas. I think there's ways
Because then you
to
hit
decrease.
well, there's a tipping point. It's like, okay, well, do I order the real or the Amazon equivalent, or do I 3D print it? And it's like, well, there's a tipping point of cost and time, effort, versus like, oh, buy, comes to my house 24 hours later.
See, and that's another thing.
I think that's where we're going to come in. It's like it's a little bit better than 3D printing, but it's not as costly as like the real thing. So, but it's going to have the really good durability.
Yeah, and like you see a lot of this stuff as well. Like even some of these 3D printed kits, like SRU, they do some interesting 3D printed kits. They're cool. My problem with them is like they're all 3D printed in sections. So you can see the section lines, you can see some of the stuff on that. Durability, yeah, they might have a little bit of decent durability on them. I think they kind of look goofy personally, but that's kind of what I want to get away from and do some different stuff is, not fully 3D printed, incorporating other materials in it to give a good normal product and not charge $300 for a stupid kit that you're going to play airsoft with. Not everybody has $300 to throw around. You might have $100 to throw around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it can be cost effective for what you're looking for around $100, $150, I'd rather spend that than spend $300 on something that looks cheap.
Well, and you and I would talk even before we started of like, I'm not a big fan of the fantasy stuff.
Right.
I feel like a lot of 3D printed stuff is the fantasy stuff. Now, I am getting tipping slightly into that, but I mean, that's for like a very specific airsoft
Bullpup
event that I would
scars
play.
look stupid. I'm just going to say it right now.
Yes. And so do scars when you replace it with the M4 stock instead of the UGG boot stock. Stop doing that. But I think that the fantasy stuff just is like, that's for a very specific genre. But I think if we could replicate something you said, some things that are real that
Right.
just aren't attainable in the market, or they're so
There's-
expensive that you can't buy them, I think that's a niche.
Some of the stuff that I'm currently working on is obtainable. You have to buy it and kind of have it shipped through customs or do some goofy
Well, it's
stuff.
just hard.
But it's just not good quality replicas. And I don't exactly want us to do like full replicas on some of that stuff. It kind of is going to have its own G2 spin on it. But there's definitely ways to improve what is already out there or what isn't out there. So.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the general gist of the G2 custom stuff. Obviously, paint jobs are current right now. So, I mean, if you want a Cerakoted paint job, we already do that.
Yeah, we do the Cerakoting, 3D printing, prototyping, CAD work.
And that, and then obviously building the AEG itself or HPA. If you guys want a custom thing built, like we obviously offer those teching
conversion
services
kits
already.
and stuff.
Yeah, our teching stuff, I guess with the community, our teching prices have been on the cheaper side, kind of doing a lot of just general stuff.
They're going to go up in price.
We are going to have to go up on our prices on some of our teching.
Mostly the
tech
AEG
work.
stuff.
Obviously, we'll help you guys with, if you got just a general question about something. But like for the general work on stuff, it's going to have to go up so that we can, actually do it effectively for you guys. So.
Since Darren or Blooper quit, he has to do the toxic waste,
Just my
which honestly might be worse
Okay.
because it's gonna last significantly longer.
And it's that small.
Yeah, they're just
Banana
warheads.
blueberry. I hate
You ever had
bananas.
warheads back in the day?
Oh, yeah, I have warheads with those.
hate-
Those look smaller.
I hate bananas.
Economy.
Shrinkflation.
Yeah, shrinkflation. And the nicotine pouch. Just stick it right here. Just suck on it. That'd suck.
Right there next to my grape.
Is it sour?
No.
I remember them back in the day. Like as soon as you put it in your mouth, it was like, oh.
I'll try one.
This isn't sour at all.
Yeah, so one other thing I have.
Nuclear fusion. Which one?
Right.
They all say that.
Yeah, nuclear fusion raspberry.
Pineapple. Ugh.
Just one thing I want to add with the whole G2 Customs thing is we're going to actually build custom guns and have them displayed, replicas, and have them displayed in the shop. for you to just buy. We think it's going to show you our capabilities and get more people interested in them, and hopefully sell a few more so we can earn more money for the film. Instead of waiting for people to come to us for custom stuff, it'll just be there ready so you can just purchase it and go on. No waiting on us to get anything done at that point.
And I think we want to try and be kind of particular about it, like what are the stuff that's moving. So I mean, if there's something that you don't see that we're developing or have out there for sale, obviously you can let us know. But a lot of work goes into the development of some of this, so it does take a while.
All right, moving on.
That's a little sour, guys.
Yeah, I'm making talking hard.
Yeah. ES packing list.
So I think it's pretty simple. I don't know if I need to get all this stuff out here.
We could probably do a separate. Let's just talk through.
I think we can talk through a lot of it.
Yeah. That was not very sour for. Well, it was very sour, but not for very long.
Yeah.
They have these aged duck eggs. I was thinking about getting them.
So there's a couple. There is a
They
couple.
have Jungle Gyms. Like
They
got this, like-
only the posh.
Jungle Gyms.
Jungle Gyms.
I went to Jungle Gyms and I got these
That's my
things,
monocle.
yeah. My name is Seven. I go to Jungle Gyms.
G'day, mate.
I hate you all.
Yeah. So as you can see, my garbage kit, Agilite. I love them. This thing is actually kind of sour now as I'm starting to eat it. The biggest thing that I think that needs to go over, you need to have tourniquets. I don't actually have them put on the kit right now where I want them.
Speaking of that, real quick, starting next year, tourniquets, dead rags. Well, tourniquets for some events are going to be mandatory. Orias bandages mandatory. Dead rags are definitely a mandatory.
You won't be let on the field without it.
Yeah, you won't. It
Continue.
Tactical Velcro.
Yeah, we'll be checking your kits and stuff because we got too many people complaining about getting overshot.
Yep.
I should not have bought that.
I wish I could see what we're looking at.
Stand in front of the camera.
Is this going to be a full-on?
I hope you get it.
Oh, holy smokes.
Can we put that online?
Yeah, probably. He's got his. Make that the thumbnail.
Okay, back to seriousness.
All right, silence
Alright,
for.
we'll cut that out. But anyhow,
Oh, no,
Hold
you're
on.
sending it to me.
Okay, explosive sunset.
what was I saying?
Tourniquets.
Tourniquets, and dead rags.
Dead rags.
Which
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to go over all that.
And your
anyway.
dead rags can be anything that's just red, but we will check that you got them.
Yep. So tourniquets and dead rags. So I guess the main items I would say that are requirement from the field that you need to have for explosive sunset specifically, tourniquets. You got to have them. You know, if you don't have them, we sell bandages. We sell tourniquets. Those bandages, you can cut them up, I think, in like 3 or 5.
I think you can come in half because they have to be 4 feet long.
Okay, so you can cut them in half, so you can get 2 bandages off of one
Yeah.
roll.
I think they're like $2.50 a piece.
And then, of course, the tourniquets. I prefer the tourniquets personally. That's what I use for all my stuff.
Oh, I bit into mine.
Yeah, that's a horrible idea.
And then as well, dead rags. So I know we have a couple different options. This is just one of our pull tab ones.
Yeah, our new ones.
So really useful. It's got a molly strap, so you can just put it on your thing and then stuff it back in if you're not using it.
We have
Super
black,
useful.
green, and tan.
Get one of them. If you don't have one, you're not playing the game. You're not following the rules. So you definitely need to have one. If you're complaining about getting overshot and you don't have a dead rag, well, you can't complain because we have dead rags.
Or if your dead rag is tucked in between right here in your gear and tucked into your armpit or whatever, or you get shot from behind, like,
Yeah.
put the dead rag on your head.
That is another thing as well. I guess to chase a rabbit, don't be wearing red gear.
Yeah.
Like-
Red hats, red shirts, or
It-
whatever.
Even for our
Open
open
plays.
plays, it'll be banned.
And then like for night games and stuff, I think it needs to be said, unless we specifically stated or you're using it for something else, red lights mean you're dead.
Red lights will be mandatory for night games.
So we do sell, I don't have one on this kit right here, but we sell like a red push button. It flashes or it's a steady light. It is red, super useful. You can attach it onto your helmet. It's got Velcro on it.
Yep.
Attach it onto the front of your kit. I normally run mine somewhere on the front of my kit so that people can see me when I'm dead.
I run one on my head and I run one on my kit.
Just make sure to turn them off when you're not
Yeah.
dead.
Yep.
So, having something red, having those TQs mandatory for those events. Then I think you kind of get into just like your general idea of stuff. In my opinion, everybody should have E-tape on them. E-tape fixes a lot of stuff. If you don't have,
Well, if we're just talking basics, I mean,
you
you need a way to be medicked. You need some food, right? So
Yeah.
like bringing your lunch down, but also some like Cliff Bars,
Mhm.
protein bars, even like Jolly Ranchers, like get the sugar up, and then water.
Yeah.
Like don't pull an all-nighter drinking beer all night. Drink water 2 days leading up to it. Like it's a hot event. You're wearing gear that's
But
heavy.
it's
You're
going to be
sweating
in
in.
March this year, so it's going to be a little cold still. But you
Even-
can still dehydrate in
Yeah.
the cold weather. So
And you can dehydrate just as fast in cold weather as you can in
Yeah.
hot weather.
Yep.
And
So-
then a way to communicate.
So like on this kit, I have a water bladder inside here, and just I don't think the camera can see it. I just have it just run up through.
In fact, it's easier to heat cat when it's cold because you don't know you're dehydrated
Yeah.
because you're
Yep.
hot. You're not sweating until
Yep.
you start moving a lot.
So
Yep.
you definitely need a way to stay hydrated. Water bladders are great. If you don't have like
yeah,
a
we sell
pack-
camelbacks.
Yeah, if you
at the
don't
field.
have a pack to put on the back of your plate carrier, I think we have those camelbacks like have straps that you can
Yeah.
put on.
Yep. Yeah, it's like a
be
backpack.
old school like myself and go canteens.
Yeah, water bottles, anything you can do, stuff it somewhere in your kit. I think another thing to put out there is a lot of people weigh down their kit with too much stuff.
Too much stuff. Yep.
Yep.
So you're going to dehydrate faster because you're probably not used to running it that way. I like to try and keep it as minimal as possible. I got my mags, I got my BBs, I got gas, obviously, for my gas guns. Speed loaders. So like, I keep a speed loader inside of my dangler pouch.
Well, and this is what you took to that major event, right? You had a major event.
Yeah. So like anything like this, these I think are the best. Because like if you have empty mag pouches, like on your belt or whatever, you stuff it right in there. It's like an M4 mag. Just something so that you can stay in the fight. I don't think that we're allowing reloading on the field at ES,
No.
so
Gotta
that'll
go back
be
to
at
your
your fob. So maybe it's not something that you need on your kit, but you definitely need it in like a go bag. I didn't bring one in with me, but definitely keeping a go bag.
Which
At
that, I
your
mean that
fob
can
is
be
something
anything
that
as
you
the
need.
Jan Sport backpack, or you can get a $400 Go Ruck bag, like anything in between. And so I think that's like, again, those pieces of kit that we're moving from open play to like explosive sunset, so that we can get to some of these higher tier type things where, hey, you're out on the field for 12 hours like nonstop. We're not there yet,
Yeah.
But I think that like, hey, having a backpack, and I mean, we don't need some packing list for your backpack, but like if you're not going to leave the field, so think, what do I need on the field at all times to keep me going, whether I'm resting or whether I'm actually playing, because that fob's going to be always accessible. You can go back to the fob at any point in time, and that's where you could take some rest and refit and reload. So it is going to be a transition. So maybe at some of the open plays, if you want to get yourself ready for Explosive Sunset in March, then hey, I'm not going to reload until we break the game is over, right? So that can simulate only reloading to the fob. Or what we used to do gear shakedowns. We used to go to open plays, dress and play exactly like we would for the mill sim, the local mill sim, and we do that 3 or 4 times leading up to the event. So hey, I know comms work. I know this placement of pouches. I know my bladder works. I know I've got enough water for all day. I know what snacks I need, where it is, and how it's easily accessible. Because that's the last thing you want to do is be trying to figure that out game day of a higher tier event.
Yeah.
Right. And like you said there with, comms, obviously squad leads required to have a radio.
Yeah.
Backup radio.
So if you don't have a radio, we sell them. I recommend running at least have extra batteries or at minimum 2 radios. Get you a good antenna for it. Those rubber duckies actually work just fine that come with them. Or whip antenna. I think that's what comes with them now is whip antennas or something.
Well, radios is a whole
Radios. If you don't
trail.
have a hand mic, you're playing it wrong. I'm just going to say that.
So I would definitely argue against getting a 5R.
Overheated?
Yeah. This one never overheats. What's going on with that guy?
Maybe that one, because those two are in the light.
Yeah.
Just built better.
Yeah. But I would argue against getting a 5R because they're just cheap junk. Even though they advertise like a certain wattage, it's rare that you ever get anywhere near it. We sell the
UV9 Pro.
9R Pro and the 13R Pro. They're both weather resistant, water resistant, all that stuff. They get closer to the advertised wattage, and the Motorola one here, that's the 9R, is probably the best one that we sell because it's completely enclosed. A lot of times you'll have it like even with like the 82s and so on and so forth. The Kenwood connectors, the 2-prong on the side, those get in your pouch, they'll wobble around and they'll break the internal connectors off. And with the Motorola's, you don't have that. We do also sell the Motorola to Kenwood adapter in our shop so that you can still plug in your older headsets or whatever as well.
It's just a more stable connection. I mean, if you guys have ever ran around in the woods, like stuff comes unplugged.
Yeah.
Super easy. Those, I don't really have any issues out of mine. Of course, I got a hand mic set up on it right now. If you just run it in your pouch without a hand mic, you're probably not going to hear it.
Yeah. Be a detriment to your team.
Yeah, so you want to set it up in a place where it's not going to be triggered all the time, where you're going to have easy access to communicate and do those things without like bumping it and,
Everybody loves the little hot mic,
Yeah.
And I would probably say too, I think we've had better luck with these 9Rs and 13Rs than we have like with the 82s or the 5s
I have.
or any others, because I don't. It's maybe the quality is better in them or something.
If you're running 2 radios, like there's split connectors out there to be able to plug them up and run 2 radios on one PTT. I have a Code Red one. It's okay, but I think there's other brands out there. I can't think of their names right now, but
Not a radio
just
guy.
kind of look into it. I will say, if you're going to like Explosive Sunset and you're trying out brand new gear, don't do that.
Not a good idea.
You definitely want to try out your year prior, make sure everything's kosher.
And work in your boots.
Yeah.
Good footwear, and work them in prior to the event. Like walk in them, wear them to work. Don't make it an 8-hour airsoft day the first time you wear your boots.
One thing I'll say also, like in this kit that I have, extra socks. Put them in a Ziploc bag, stuff them in your kit somewhere.
yeah, that'll save your day.
Like, I mean, if it's going to be a march, so expect there to probably be a little bit of mud, a little bit of wetness. Halfway through the day, if I'm encountering that type of terrain, I change my socks. Because if you don't, you're just going to tear up your feet. You're not going to have fun.
Jungle ride is not cool.
No.
And get the darn tough socks.
per day.
Another thing I'll say, since we're on that, it kind of goes over into like some of your winter gear prep stuff, but wear thermals if you got them, but don't wear too much.
Yeah.
Because if you start putting on too much winter gear, you're going to screw yourself. You're just going to overheat. You're going to be weighed down by too much stuff. I wear some thermals underneath where I know I can just take off my kit, take off my shirt, take those off and throw them into a pack or whatever if I don't need them anymore. But by overdressing, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Well, and if
I'd say if you can get a hold of those Polypros from when I was in the Army, those are probably some of the best thermals I've ever had.
Was
You got a set?
I have silks on right now, but yeah, they issue silks, waffles, a windbreaker, and all the way up to the soft shell ECW.
So you guys didn't get issued the Polypros though?
Which one are you talking about? Maybe
They're like that same color, but they're like a thin wool or whatever on the inside.
they don't issue the frog gear anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's just silks, waffles, fleece, and then your polyester stuff, which is like your windbreaker all the way up to your extreme cold weather pants at top.
Okay.
But yeah, you can find all that stuff. It's easy to find. Check your local surplus stores.
Then the gator necks are really nice too.
Yes,
Well,
you get a waffle neck gator, and you'll be warm as hell.
Yeah.
Even simply Under Armour. I mean, I wear Under Armour stuff. I have compression pants that I wear, and then I have usually like a base layer, and then I wear the grid fleece, and I call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I will say also, like, there's other brands out there, but this is actually, I think, one of the best ones right now. Cygnus Armory. They make this gator, but it's also got mesh face pro for your teeth. So it actually keeps me warm in the winter, even though it's got some ventilation holes. It's just enough.
well, you lose what, like 80% of the heat out of your head. So you throw a gator on, you throw like the Under Armour silky material balaclava. Don't wear like your winter bank robber like balaclava because you're just gonna overheat.
That is something like, winter can determine, like, obviously your different type of gear. These I think are fine. You can even throw another like gator underneath it if you're like way too cold. Also gloves. In the wintertime, I would say gloves should be a must for you.
Hand warmers.
Yeah, hand warmers. These are summer gloves. They breathe a little bit better. You can get some other, more thicker gloves. But I would say gloves should be like mandatory in your kit. I've seen guys actually cut their fingers and stuff off of grenades and stuff happen. So gloves are definitely a must to add to your kit. And
I wear gloves in the summer even because
I would say it would be worth it for like explosive sunset. I mean, we're going into March, so you need something to keep your hands warm. If your hands aren't warm, well, you're probably gonna bail out a little bit sooner than
During Red Hammer, I should have wore gloves. I got shot
yeah,
in my
you got
damn
it,
knuckle here, and
that
it's
thing is nasty.
never been the same.
Well, I
I'm
wear
pretty sure
gloves.
it broke a bone or something, like chipped it.
Well, I mean, I wear gloves in the summer because I'm I hate getting poison oak and poison ivy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it a lot when I get it, but it's always usually on my hands because I'm on the ground or I lay my gun down and I'm not really looking at what I'm going to pick it back up and then I've got that sap on things. So obviously the winter you don't have that issue ideally, but even the summer have just a good pair of gloves and learn to work around them because wearing gloves versus your bare hands, manipulating your replica and your gear is a very different process than having a little bit more of a bulky glove on. So again, shake down, make sure your stuff works, make sure it works for you, and if it doesn't, change it. There's, a million videos on YouTube on what works and what doesn't, and somebody's opinion on what's tested, you know what I mean? Just test it yourself.
I think as well with that, like, so on the back here, I have an IFAC, which it's kind of just a cheap, crappy IFAC that I could just throw on the back. But you're responsible for your own health. You're responsible for anything that happens to you. Airsoft, I mean, it's a moderately intense sport and poses
You can get injured.
some injuries.
Especially in our field.
Yeah.
So, I got like bandages and stuff in here if I get cut or, something happens. But, you're out there by yourself or whatever. Do you want the guy next to you to be responsible for you? So, like, carry some bandages. You don't have to load up a full IFAC with chest seals and,
You're
stuff
not
like
going to
that.
get real bullet wounds.
But
Yeah.
you definitely need something, I think, that, can you clean a wound? Can you put a Band-Aid on it? Anything that you can do to kind of take care of your own health. You can even throw in there some of that liquid IV. If you're dehydrated or something,
absolutely.
you put
Those
that into
packets.
your water.
Yep.
Kind of help you out there, but you're responsible for your own self. Somebody else shouldn't be responsible for you, so you got to take care of.
And the thing
your
is,
health.
like, if more people start carrying this stuff, if you happen to forget, at least the other people around you will have it, so you can cover each other too.
Well, and I remember when I had my previous team,
You have that.
we
admin-
all
the admin plate thing.
Admin plate.
Oh, you can put your phone in.
No, I don't have one of those yet. I
But,
want to get one.
we all had like an operational order of like, hey, this or whatever you call that, of like, hey, every guy has these like 10 things. Like that's the baseline. That is what you're required to have on you at all times. But that was us as a team, as a squad. We ran like 10, 12 guys. So I always knew, and the basic thing was, hey, be self-sufficient. That way, if somebody else's gear fails, we're still an effective, combat team, and we can stay out on the field. Like even when they did breaks, we just stayed on the field and hung out because we didn't need extra ammo, we didn't need extra batteries, we didn't need more water, we didn't need food. It was all there. And so like if that is your baseline, then you'll be prepared for pretty much anything we do at G2.
And I've had bad experiences in the past with even some airsoft grenades. I think Ear Pro
the prevalence of these,
Ear Pro is definitely something good to have, especially with explosive sunset. We're going to be setting off fireworks and stuff. I'm already kind of deaf from being around construction equipment.
Well, if you haven't seen the old videos on our Facebook of the old explosive sunset, you probably should look at that.
But you don't have to
You're
get
kinda
some crazy helmet set up. You can buy some $30 ear protection.
Yeah.
Razor Walkers at Walmart.
Yep.
But these things are loud.
They're definitely worth it to have. Take care of your hearing. Take care of yourself. And then as well, something like if you decide to play the night game, which I would encourage, you don't need a PVS 14 that costs $2,000.
But you should.
You should. Definitely should. I can find you one right now for $1,800.
Hey, Trippy.
$1,600.
Can you try to see turn that one back on?
But you should definitely have some kind of flashlight, some kind of mode of
seeing something that's not your cell phone.
There you go.
Because if you're relying on your cell phone, we're gonna be using the cell phone for Ares Alpha, so you're probably gonna want to go to battery pack. But some type of weapon light, or I actually carry a headlamp. I just wear it around my neck.
Yep.
Make sure it has red light and white light, and that's what I carry. I have a weapon light as well, but like. For me, like if I'm trying to see for safety, I throw that thing on my neck or I put it up on my head. Like you can get like your arc rails. They've got lights that can hook onto your arc rails, like so you can see, because you're gonna want to be able to see at night.
And I think flashlights are mandatory at our night games.
They will be, yes.
So that's something that you want to get. We do sell flashlights.
Yeah, we can sell some cheap ones.
So you definitely want to have a flashlight at the minimum. Don't be afraid to use your flashlight. If you're thinking that you're sneaking through the woods and you got some dude like me running around with a PVS 14,
they already know you're there.
I already know you're there. So just use your flashlight. Obviously, light discipline is a whole other conversation.
Yeah, because
night games is like a whole other podcast.
But I mean, at
one
the bare
thing
minimum,
with the flashlights, real quick, with the night vision, I believe it was the Grom guys taught me that when you're flashing the light out there, you can actually see like a green glow on people's night vision, and that's how you can easily spot them. So. Definitely use that flashlight. That's why we're going to start to make it a mandatory thing for everybody. Because we get a lot of people that don't have them going out there playing, and they're stumbling around and stuff, and they need to be able to see.
The biggest thing why I think some people don't have fun at night games, and it's because, they're not prepared. Yeah. So, like, if you don't have a flashlight, how do you think you're going to have fun and play against... Because you can effectively use a flashlight in airsoft versus somebody who's running night vision. Night vision, the only thing that it really helps me do is navigate a little bit easier in some of those other terrains without having to use a light.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if I didn't have night vision, I'm shining a light around. Well, somebody over somewhere else is going to see me. But if you're playing versus somebody who has night vision, you should always have a flashlight in any night game because you're just putting yourself at a severe disadvantage if you don't.
Which our night games are going to be evolving. Drastically. That's probably a whole other topic to add to a different podcast. But even for Explosive Sunset, there is a night portion to the Explosive Sunset game. So we got March, so prepare now. Christmas is coming around the corner. You know what I mean? Like, figure out a way to be effective at night.
Mm-hmm. Tie down all your gear. I think that's another big thing. We have so many people that lose.
Don't lose your keys on the field. You'll never find them.
If you're playing a night game, just stuff your wallet in your car, lock your car up, stuff your keys in a plate and pouches that don't leave your body.
Zipper pouches.
We got lockers at the field now too, so you could always
Yeah.
rent a locker out for the day.
So just, patrol your gear, police it, make sure that everything's good to go, and you'll have fun. But I think for rough gear shakedown for explosive sunset, hydration methods, reloading methods for your BBs, dead rags, just
Dead
those,
Dead lights.
dead lights, flashlights. Oh, iPro, another big thing. Obviously, we only allow Z87.1 plus, or
Yep.
Z87 plus, whatever it is. No mesh goggles. Please, for the love of God,
Yep.
don't bring out anything. I don't care if you
I
have
think
mesh
we had
face
one or two people bring out mesh goggles this year.
Yeah, I've seen 2 people out here with mesh goggles, and I had to send them back.
Well,
Go
in
get
your-
rid of iPro.
And your prescription glasses with little side protectors are not ANSI rated.
No. No, so you definitely have to have approved iPro, and I will say on that, for a night game, clear lenses are required. Do not come down onto the field with smoke
Yeah,
lenses
smoked.
for a
Tinted
for
lenses.
a night game.
Yeah.
I think that'll probably be a thing that we'll have to police a little bit harder, and probably send people away if you're trying to do that, because it's just a safety hazard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that you can't see anything, but it's an actual safety hazard for you. So
And if you want to look cool in your operator pictures, tuck them in your gear, and when you take your Instagram picture for later, put them on. Simple as that.
Yep.
I would say footwear as an addition, and then make sure your gear is comfortable. Like weight distribution for your gear, like you're gonna be wearing it for 8 hours
Yeah.
more.
Save your back.
Yeah, like make sure your gear is comfortable. Like that Agilite plate carrier has really
Right.
thick, nice straps, and you can
No,
buy
I think we can
aftermarket
see it.
straps that you can add. You can buy real HSGI straps and put them on your Repro chest rig or your Repro JPC or plate carrier. Like it's not expensive to do that. So that's
Yeah,
the only other
I
thing.
mean,
I'd
they're going to
add.
fit differently to you. I mean, I've used the Amazon plate carriers before, and they worked perfectly
Yeah.
fine for me. You may have to modify them a little bit, but I think the biggest thing is don't put too much gear on it. We are doing, what was it? Was it 5 or 7 mags for explosive?
7.
So 7 mags on your kit. I mean, for somebody who's using an AEG, that's a lot of BBs.
Yeah, especially with the EPMs.
So, I mean, just keep that in mind. You probably don't have to carry a giant speed loader on your kit. That's just extra weight that you don't have to put on there.
Well, it's not allowed to be on your kit because you can only reload it.
Yeah, I mean, so there's no sense in like stuffing 30,000 pockets, and I've done it. I did it in the past where you just have everything on your kit. Like, keep it simple because it's airsoft. It's not like we're going out for a 3-day maneuver.
Yeah. Well, and if you're a machine gunner too, like you have a secondary gunner for a reason. Like if you want to split carrying the extra maybe battery or maybe the spare box mag, like, and you don't want to leave it at your fob, like have your ammo buddy carry it for you. You know what I mean? Like if you're running a fully functional operational squad, like these things should already be talked about. Which there are teams that have that redundancy, but as new players, you definitely need to build in those redundancies in your squad.
And these are things like when people are signing up, we can go over those things. As a team and as the commander, I'd put out there a general gear check
Yeah.
of, hey, this is what you need to bring to be effective on my team. If you're not like fully invested into, buying all this different gear, chest rigs. You can get cheap chest rigs. In fact, chest rigs are better, I think, for airsoft than anything. You got less weight, more breathable. Getting those things.
I've got my bigger vest, but
Preparing
that's not, I typically only wear it like in the wintertime because it just keeps me warmer.
I mean, I've been playing airsoft for 20 years, so I've got a winter loadout and a summer loadout. Like,
Yep.
and I don't think I've paid brand new prices for anything in a long. That's because I'm just cheap, But like, I'm also, realistic with my money.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, get you a nice jacket for the wintertime, put it over your clothes, and put your gear over top of it, and you'll be fine. You'll be warm because then you can. All right, I'll drop my gear. I can
take my coat off.
take my coat off and go.
And hand warmers. I put 2 in each pocket, 2 in each back pocket, and I'm good to go.
So if there's an area where you see, all right, I'm fading out about 3 o'clock. Why?
Yeah.
and see what you can do. Maybe it's lessening your gear. Maybe you don't carry 7 mags. Maybe you don't, carry one other thing. Maybe you don't make your 5-pound replica 10 pounds.
Yeah. Well, I think too
If you're
that's
playing
a
a
good
day
point.
game, I take my flashlights off.
Yeah.
I don't need a flashlight for a day game. I do have a PEC box on my replica, but PEC boxes
looks
are
cool.
stupid. They just look cool, like you said.
Yep.
Well, I think it's a good point too. Of like, it's always good to do some type of like after action. It's like, okay, well, let me unpack my fob bag. What did I not touch in this bag? Okay, that can go for the next game. You know what I mean? Or in my gear, I'm unpacking my gear, and at least I do this. I take everything out of my gear, and I'll open up this admin pouch. I'm like, I don't even know that was there. Like, okay, yep, that's out. You know what I mean? Like, start to min max your gear a little bit to where after every event, and you go, or there is the event where you're like, oh, dude, I didn't have this, and that could have been awesome. Like, oh, maybe I didn't bring anti-fog wipes with me. Okay, well that gets added to the admin pouch. Maybe.
Definitely pay attention to what more of the veterans out there
Yeah.
that have been playing are bringing with them.
And it may be something you don't use all the time. Like I
Yeah.
carry a multi-tool.
Yep, carry multi-tool.
I
Carry one right
can't
now.
tell you how many people are like, "Oh, my gun's doing something weird," and
Bring
it's,
some hex keys or
Yeah, it's
Allen
l-
keys as well.
yeah, it's literally as simple as just having a multi-tool to kind of fix something real quick. Because
I mean, if you need anything more than a multi-tool, maybe even hex keys might be pushing it. You don't want to be pulling your gun apart on the field.
right,
That's how you lose a part that you can't replace.
Yeah, I've only had it happen like one time where like my sight came loose or something. I needed to tighten it up, but
Oh, yeah, like
mine
yeah.
also could take a screwdriver, so you
Yeah.
just put a little knife in there or something. But we have a lot of people at the field though always asking us for Allen keys and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It might not be a bad idea to at least bring one little small set.
throw it in a pouch in your kit and forget about
All
it.
day. Yep.
Yeah, we
Or
got those.
put it in your fob bag.
We got those little small ones at the field that we sell.
I think a lot of stuff can be solved if people brought fob bags and threw most of their stuff that they're not actively using in a fob bag. But
And if you're worried about security of the fob bag, yes, there's things that are going to be that are necessary in a fob bag that aren't necessarily throwawayable. Because if I'm leaving something unattended, I'm like, if that gets stolen, I don't really care. But there's ways to secure your stuff. At Explosive Sunset, the commander's not going to be leaving the fob unless there's obviously an emergency. So ideally, there's going to be eyes on your gear at all times. That being said, don't leave your night vision in your fob bag unattended. I mean, I've heard of stories at Milson West where cadres' night vision are stolen out of their tent. Like, people are humans suck sometimes. So but you can get little locks, little cheapo lock the zippers. If you want to get an Apache box that you can throw some locks on, or Amazon plastic box you can throw some locks on, like, do it. You know what I mean? Secure your stuff the way you think it needs to be
yeah, I mean, if
secured.
you think you need a bike lock,
Cabela's
got a
sells
chain.
those one boxes for like $30.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've
forget
got
what they're
two of those. I don't know what they're called either, but they're thin. Now, if somebody wants to get into it, they could take their pocket knife and smash a hole in it. Like, all right,
Yeah,
cool.
you can't stop everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted my BBs that bad, I just would have given them to you. But again, I expect Explosive Sunset. Like, I'll be at the fob, Blooper will be at the fob. Admin will be wandering around. So ideally, that stuff is secured. But I think we've kind of beaten that horse.
Yeah. Just a couple quick things I got is community days. That's going to be after, I think it's on the first weekend of the month. After the open play, it's just a time for us all to kind of hang out, do something that's not technically airsoft related, or we could do some other stuff that is airsoft related. But mostly it'll just be hanging out. We bring movies out once in a while to watch, which is pretty nice. You can do it outside and play some cornhole or whatever. We got some different games out there. And also for our night games on the third weekend, we're going to have some nights that are mandatory tracers, because there's a lot of people complaining about people not calling their hits. And the best way to see that they're getting hit is to see where your BBs are going. So definitely be picking one of those up. We sell them at the shop. They don't cost a whole lot. I think like $50.
Yeah,
50,
yeah, I
They're
think
cheaper
so.
than that sometimes,
Yeah, there's some
too. I
cheaper
mean, like,
ones.
yeah.
Ones we sell are kind of cool. They're the C ones, and when you shoot through them, it flashes orange, so it looks like you're actually firing a real gun. But you can turn that off too. That part off, I believe.
Yeah, you can.
That the dead lights, and that's pretty much about it. Really,
We sell
It's ju-
tracer BBs.
we'll be doing Nighthawk still once in a while, but it'll be mostly like just an open play at night for most of it with those features.
And again, that purpose is to, hey, we went really complicated on night games. It folded over on itself. Let's go back to the basics, get people used to night operations, get even us as staff used to staffing and adminning at night, and then let's get the community, hey, save up $2,000 for a PVS 14, great. If you want to, squad up with guys and run, and you want to get a tracer and try these things out, because these are going to become new standards. We want to operate at night. We want people to have fun and for it to be successful, but the community has to baby step itself there, And there is a large community who has that stuff already readily available, but a good chunk of our average community does not. And so that's why we're kind of dropping it back to the basics, adding tracers, changing these different pieces of the game modes into 2025 to try to accommodate that. And hey, we're at first grade night games. We're not going to go from first grade to fifth grade. Let's go from first to second to third, and take the community there with us.
Yeah, we got some advanced night game stuff too. Like it's supposed to be the Nighthawk.
That'll be for
Active
those.
Betrayal.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to try to work on a third one, but we haven't really kind of got there yet. We're trying to improve our current games, and then we'll move forward with some more.
Yeah, I think that like with the, for whatever reason, people, I don't know if it's people who get tired or whatever, but airsofters get cranky at night.
Well, I think a lot of it's because they don't come prepared.
Yeah.
They don't have flashlights, so they can't see. And it could be that they played for most
Like
of the day
if you're
too.
complaining that somebody's not calling their hits and you're not using a flashlight, you can't actually see that you're not, that you're hitting them. Well, you have no room to complain. Well, like a lot of our admins now, what are there, like 5 of us have night vision now?
Yeah.
Or night vision
roughly,
capable. Yeah. So like, I like running admin for night games. If you see me out there, hey, I don't think he's calling this hit. Okay. I'll go over there and look at him through nods, and even if it's just a flashlight only night. Of course, that's a whole other discussion with talking about, how to use your flashlights at night and how to actually play a night game.
Yeah.
But, as long as you have it on your kit, you got a way to actually see, then I think you'll be better off.
I think I have literally stood at the max range of somebody, and their BBs, from their perspective, look like they're hitting me square in the chest. But where this plate is a pile of their BBs, because I took 2 steps back because they're shooting at me at max range. And then they missed a few shots that went past me. I took 3 steps back, 2 steps back. I'm like, hey, dude, come here. Here's every BB you just shot at me. Like, you're not hitting me. But then I've been on the other end. I'm like, dude, I'm totally hitting that guy. And I go and I get up to where he's at, and I'm like, oh, there's my pile of BBs. And again, that's also why at open plays, you'll hear me yell, move up, fire and maneuver, stop lobbing BBs at max range. That is and then even if you do hit somebody, the physics of that BB hitting that person and them feeling it is slim to none because there's no energy left in it, So again, I don't want to go down that rabbit trail, but like just get closer. And if you're having an issue with somebody not calling their hits, and I've done this, I have openly argued with people and yelled and screamed at the top of my lungs. What did it do? It gave me a really bad day. That guy was like, I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, it just gave me a really bad day. So I think if people aren't calling their hits, find an admin, find, Seven, find me as Milo, find Blooper, whatever, whoever it is on the field, let us handle it. As soon as you start yelling, you start gabbing, you start fighting is when you have a bad day, that player has a bad day, then the community also has a bad day because they're like, man, you do that airsoft fight at G2, like, not that we've had those, but again, it's never a good thing for the entire game. So if you have an issue, bring it to an admin, and if you don't think that the admin you've brought it to is handling it appropriately, bring it to Seven. I mean, he's the ultimate, kind of law on the field, and he will handle it. And if we got to kick that player out, fine. If you're the issue, fine, we'll handle it. But in 2025, I know I'm tired of it. I'm tired of, me having to de-escalate issues. And we're not perfect as admin and staff either. Don't get me wrong. We're policing that ourselves. But as a community, like, it's BBs. We're shooting plastic
Yeah.
BBs at a fake replicas pretending to be army guys.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not that deep.
Any last comments or anything?
No, I don't got
No.
nothing.
And I got all kinds of comments, but that's
Yeah,
me.
we could go on for like 3 more hours about different stuff.
Yeah. We're going to try to post more regularly, too, with our videos and everything. So,
Probably have a few more of these put out eventually.
Yeah.
Next discussion: how to actually play a night game, because you all suck at it.
yeah, let us know some things you guys want us to talk about, and we'll work it in the schedule. That's it.
Yeah,
See you
all
guys.
right. See you guys later.